Hey there guys, Rob at OCD Coffee here. So I wanted to make you a quick video answering some of the questions that came through. Very surprisingly, I've only made a few videos here for OCD Coffee and how to use the Yoshan roaster, but it turns out a lot of people are interested in buying one or upgrading whatever they're currently doing. Or I have a guy in Africa that reached out to me, says that he's having some problems with his roaster and he needed some help. But to get started with this, I want to answer the questions. I've had two emails that came in literally, one today and one over the weekend, asking how much I paid for the roaster, would I recommend the roaster, how did I get it, what was the process like ordering on overseas and getting it from a manufacturer, and I want to answer those questions. There's just so you can, if you're hearing any background noise, I just finished roasting a geisha coffee. And that should be cool. In a second, I'll turn that off. But just to get into the answering the questions, yes, I highly recommend picking one of these up. This Yoshan roaster is a 2 kilo. It roasts about 5.5. I can roast maximum capacity 5.5 pounds. But you never really want to roast at 100% capacity. So 4 pounds, where I put like 4.5 to 5 pounds in, generally yields me about 4 pounds of coffee, and I can generally operate in that vicinity fairly well. But getting to how did I get this? Why did I buy it direct from the manufacturer? And how much did it cost? And how did I get it delivered to me? So for one, I started looking on Alibaba.com. You can see a whole bunch of different roasters on Alibaba. Roast like people manufacture roaster manufacturers, and they're not that expensive. If you're looking at Mill City Roasters or what is it called, San Fran Roasters, those guys sell their entry level is about $10,000 to $12,000. A 2 kilo at Mill City is going to, I think, be 10,900 or 11,000, not including tax. And then delivery fees on top of that. So I think I was looking at like 12 or 13,000 just to get a Mill City 12 kilo. Wasn't in my budget. So I ended up looking on Alibaba. They looked good, but I didn't know how to trust it. So my next step was to go on Upwork.com, and I did a little bit of research. I found a guy that specifically, I'm going to turn this off and dump my coffee as I talk to you guys, because that's the process here. I found a guy that that does sourcing in China, and it wasn't expensive. I think I paid him less than $200. And what he did is he put together a short list for me in China. He lives in China. Put together a short list of manufacturers, and that gave me, and in that he gave me 5 different manufacturers that were highly recommended. By the way, there's my geisha. Looks really good. That were highly recommended and that had great reviews on Alibaba. And from there, we decided on the right roaster from that manufacturer, one that was in my price point. They had a deal going for this one, which was the DY2, if I'm right, and that is it was about $3,400. A far cry from the 11,000 that Mill City was selling. I also had this engraving. I think this one comes free. If I wanted to put a plaque on here that said OCD Coffee, I was going to have to pay a little extra, like $50. It wasn't nothing. And then also this table I also got was OCD, and I had that put on there for an additional $50. Actually, that was free. That came with the table. If I wanted to upgrade my decals on here, I could have. But I just did this one, which was, I think that was free. Maybe that was $50. Anyway, still a good deal. So after that, we negotiated that with shipping, and I wanted my shipping to be door to door. Had a guy, once it reached port, I was contacted by a trucking company that was going to do the delivery, and they actually delivered it right to my doorstep of my garage, right outside this garage. The guy rolled it right down the driveway. Got my neighbor, helped me unpack it, and got the whole thing set up and installed within an hour or so. You're going to want to have a couple people help you. If you can't lift, I'm very familiar with lifting things that are heavy, so it wasn't something that I was worried about. But if you're not familiar or you're not comfortable, you should get as many people valuable as you can to help, because this thing weighs about 375 pounds. It's heavy. It's made of cast. It's super heavy, and steel. The delivery process took about 2 months. It gets shipped overseas, like on a shipping container, or you can get it shipped air freight, which is a hell of a lot more money. Most people are not going to do that unless you're in an emergency. And I think that's it. Mine's an LP, which also has everything else runs on electrical, but LP means it runs on a propane tank, and you do need to have a 220 volt plug, not a 110. Standard American usually is 110 volt. You need to install 220 volt. You're going to have an electrician come in and install that via your what's it called, your breaker box. Okay, and that was basically it. That's the entire setup. It's pretty simple, but if you have any more questions specifically about this, or you want to reach out to me with any other questions, feel free. I'm happy to help. And I'm going to keep making roasting tutorials. So if you need any help there, let me know. I'm happy to help. And I can make any specific tutorials for you. All right. Have a good one, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.